Getting to know you, getting to know all about you, getting to like you, getting to hope you like me.
Today's lesson is about a certain type of audition you might be asked to do. But first of all, let me just tell you how important auditions are. So many of you are kind of chomping at the bit to try to get to meet an agent and get out there and audition before you really know what you're doing. And that's really a big mistake because you're always establishing a reputation for yourself. And you need to know exactly how to do your auditions so that you're going to book. There's absolutely no reason for you to turn in a self-tape that isn't going to get you the job. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of everybody's time. So what you want to do is to make sure that you can actually look at your script that you have to do, analyze it, come up with an interesting concept about how you're going to present that character, create some interaction between you and the other character, purpose and relationship, all those things that we talk about all the time. But today we're going to talk about a different kind of an audition. Sometimes there isn't a script available. Sometimes they're not really sure what they want to see you for. So they'll ask you to tell us a little bit about yourself. Now, so I threw that at some of my audition class students. We've been working on scripts. We either did commercial copy or we do TV scripts or movie scripts. And I throw it at them and they have to make a self-tape, and then we go through the self-tape, and then they get to have a callback and try to follow the direction that I've given them. But this particular time, I asked them just to tell me a little bit about yourself. And this threw some of my students for a loop because they're not used to talking about themselves. They're not particularly comfortable with talking about themselves. And this is something that we all need to be able to do in our everyday lives, as well as in our acting life. And you never know when you're going to be meeting somebody that might be important to your career at a party or at a restaurant or wherever it may be. And you need to be able to calmly and warmly, in a connected kind of a way, be able to communicate something about yourself without acting like you're just talking about yourself. And that's what we want to see in this kind of audition. Let's face it, they don't really care about your hobbies or what it is you do in your free time. What they want to see is who you are. And that means you need to be able to connect and say it in a warm and personable way. So let's watch these students now. They each made a self-tape, so you can see what it is they were turning in to me, the casting director. You're going to hear them say the Winnie Hiller talent agency, and because I'm playing all the roles right now, I'm the talent agent and I'm the casting director, but I'm none of those things. I'm an acting coach. And I'm here to help these people be able to book a job when they do get auditions. So let's take a look at what these people turned in to me, their casting director.
Getting to know you, putting it my way, but nicely.
Like most Filipinos, I am super into karaoke. Oh, but that's about the only cliche thing about me, I assure you. See, this 5'3" little brown girl has experienced so many interesting and unexpected things. For instance, I can say that I drove across the country all by myself, all the way from Fort Bragg, North Carolina to Santa Barbara, California, right when I got out of the Army so that I can go to school out here. That's right, the Army. Now, that is something that not a lot of people expect to hear coming from me.
Hey. All right, so Joanna,
Yeah.
as you watch that, what do you see? Do you see an actress there?
I don't know. I don't know how you can, what it looks like to be an actress.
The biggest problem with that, because you said so many interesting things,
Mm.
is that it was very presentational. You saw it, didn't you? And that's not the way you act in real life. And that's not the way any of your characters would act, right? I mean, if let's say they're auditioning for a real person that just talks and interacts with people, they're going to say, wow, does she do all that all the time?
No.
You don't ever want to be presentational when you're showing what you do as an actor. Okay. That was, I mean, so much of your life is truly interesting, but they want to know who you are, not this fake person who's trying to be entertaining. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah. So that was way too much. I don't know if you've ever sent anything like that out, but
no, I've never had to send anything like that's just talking about me.
Good. I'm glad that we caught you before that happened. You were also kind of blowing your own horn a little bit, which people really don't like. And that's really good, isn't it? You don't want to do that. Okay. You want to look like you are a modest yet confident human being that they could, stand to work with, right? Somebody who wouldn't be bragging about themselves all the time or thinking that they're the best thing since sliced bread, right? It's got to be genuine and just somebody that you'd want to be friends with. Okay. So I think you need to look at it a little bit more like you're sitting across the table from somebody that you think would be a good candidate for a date or as a best friend, right? Somebody that you really want to connect with rather than trying to audition.
Okay.
Because no auditions should look like auditions, They should look like your character who's really interacting with somebody. And that's character, it includes, you.
Yeah.
You're a character too. You had 4 great things to talk about, but if you gave an example of a little story with each one of them, and you didn't have to use them all. You could, if it's too much. That was definitely too long. It shouldn't be any more than about 1.5 minutes. But that just gave you a lot to choose from, right?
Yeah.
So that you can, kind of hone that down. And, you can talk about one of the most moving experiences that you had in the Army, or one of the funniest experiences you had in the Army.
But then if I was to tell a story like that, it would just be like longer than that, because stories are pretty long.
Right. I'd rather have one story that had a lot of different emotions in it. I mean, you can kind of give a quick rundown, say, I'm Filipino and I love karaoke. I was in the Army, and then, mention those things and say, I'll tell you a little story about when I was in the Army, and then you can, go into more detail, because it doesn't, like little kids, my kids used to go into auditions a lot because they were actors when they were young, and they would ask them, tell us about your pets, or tell us what you did on vacation. They don't care about your pets or your vacation. No, what they want to see, and what we would practice with them is like saying, okay, well, so what we're going to do is talk about Oscar, who's their dog, and they love to talk about Oscar, but something that he did that was really naughty, something he did that was funny, just so that there would be different emotions going on.
I see.
And I was really mad when he'd shoot at my favorite toy, right? Because then they get to see that, right?
Right.
So it's just a matter of being able to share something personal. You see those changes in the eyes where they go from thinking about something that was scary to something that is heartwarming. Just like when I tell you that we need to make our words come alive, right? And really make the words mean what they mean. That's what you need to be doing when you're talking about yourself.
Hi, I'm Joanna. I'm with the Winnie Hiller Talent Agency, and I'm in Los Angeles, California. So, like a lot of people, I've experienced a huge personal transformation during COVID. And it all started when I got laid off. And of course, it felt a little bit detrimental, right? Losing a job. But in the end, it ended up feeling like a huge blessing. I learned to really just use and see that time in quarantine as an opportunity. And I wanted to learn something more meaningful and spend my time. I'm a lifelong learner. And so it's like, what am I going to get into? And I found this program where I could learn the piano, to playing piano in 21 days. And it worked. I'm not a concert pianist, but I learned how to use chords and just learn enough about music and how music worked to be able to play the piano, which is so fun. I wrote songs that using that too. And basically what I think fundamentally happened for me and which ushered in this transformation was that I learned how to be authentic. I learned how to really honor what was inspiring my heart. And it was not corporate communications, which is my career. So nowadays, that is what I do. I honor who I am. I champion authenticity. And this is why I want to be an actress.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. Okay. So just a tiny little critique. So, be careful about the opening phrase. It's important to get a good opening phrase because you went like everybody and it already felt like it was going to be negative. Okay. So if there's some way to get into what you did, because it was so good. You also presented yourself as somebody who, you found music, which was great. I love the whole music thing, but it was sort of like acting was an afterthought, because if you are, a corporate person and you just started acting, I don't know if I can trust you to have the skills. But if you can ease in there and talk about not only the chords that you learned, but also that you learned all this stuff about acting and that, I got to work with other people and acting with people across the world. And you know what I'm saying? That also is something that you can do to put them at ease about your ability.
Yeah, right? That's a good strategic tip.
And every week I work with my scene partner, and I'm in a showcase every 5 weeks. These are things that people are going, oh, she's performing all the time. Her chops are all set, right?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Sure.
You are precisely my cup of tea.
About me, I come from a large extended family. My family in particular is small. It's 3 of us, 3 kids, and my parents. My family, I love. I'm having a big family because there's so many cousins and aunts, and you just get so many different perspectives on things. And you get to see things, so you won't, make those same mistakes, which I'm very grateful for. I love spending time with my family. I love traveling. I love being outdoors, and just being in the sun. It's
okay. There were so many good possibilities. You were right on the edge, Chanel, right on the edge of actually sharing something, because you talked about stuff that you really cared about, but we didn't have any examples, and you didn't have eye contact. That's really, if you watch a bunch of casting directors on YouTube talk about what they want, what they're most concerned about is the framing of your head.
okay.
And it's the most, like right now you're right here, right? Now it wasn't too bad when you were shooting that, but they do want your head to be up. Is what I feel like I mention it constantly, and I have to keep telling people, get your face up into the camera, in class, for your self tapes, because right now, your head is way too small, right? I can't see into your eyes unless you get up here, and you need to have your camera at eye level. Okay. So that you can look straight into camera. And okay. You want when you're doing a scene with somebody, you're not going to look straight into camera. I'm looking into camera right now, but you want to look, so that you can connect with eyeballs. Eyeballs you got to look at. So even if you don't have anybody to talk to, get some eyeballs and tape them onto your screen or something.
Okay.
Don't look at yourself, because you're going to avoid looking at yourself. You're going to go, oh, I don't like the way I look. You're going to do all kinds of stuff. And I think that I've made this really, really clear in this class, that slating is not an afterthought or something you just want to get through. Hi, my name's Chanel, and I'm with the Winnie Hiller talent agency, and I live in Los Angeles or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's not a slate. What you need is an introduction to yourself that will lead right into what you're doing, whether it's going to be separate or hooked on. It doesn't matter. It still needs to be, hi, I'm here and I can't wait to meet you, is your subtext.
Right.
It looked like, Chanel, like you suddenly go, oh no, now what am I going to say?
That's what it was.
Myself. But don't you want to think ahead of time what you might want to talk about?
Like, I'm an introvert, so I don't like talking about myself. Like,
you came up with all kinds of things. So just give yourself bullet points. Give yourself bullet points about, okay, I'm going to talk about family. I'm going to talk about travel. I'm going to talk about nature.
Right.
Because all three of those things were really beautiful, but you didn't give me any immediate examples.
Okay.
Who have you learned the most from in your family?
My grandmother.
Okay, so you have a grandmother. I've learned the most in my life from my grandmother. She makes sure all the time that I don't do this and that I do this, right? She likes to tell me exactly what I should wear, what I should eat, whatever she does. Do you know what I'm saying? You can get a little glimpse of you and your grandmother together.
Hi, my name is Chanel Williams. I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I'm with the Winnie Hiller talent agency.
Okay, now, Chanel, have you been listening to what I've been saying to everybody?
Yeah, I'm trying to be slower with the talking, so it's just taking over the rest of like being interesting.
What about being at the table at a restaurant with somebody that you're meeting for the first time? What did you hear that part?
Yeah.
Are you not about being slower? It's about being understood by a person that you're really interested in getting to know. Right.
Hi, my name is Chanel Williams. I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I'm represented by the Winnie Hiller agency.
Do you like me, Chanel?
Not
that much right now, but try to act like you like me, okay? So look into my eyes and say, hi, Winnie, I'm Chanel. I need you to make a personal contact with me, all right?
Hi, Winnie. My name is Chanel Williams. I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I'm with the Winnie Hiller agency.
Okay, good. Now, I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Do you like Philadelphia?
I love Philadelphia.
Well, I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We've got the Liberty Bell, and think about some things you love about Philadelphia. The cannolis. See if you can warm that up a tiny bit. Do you want to try it one more time? Yeah, you do. You want to so bad.
Hi, my name is Chanel. I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I'm represented by the Winnie Hiller. My grandmother. I love spending time with her. I love just sitting around her and asking her questions, because you have to ask the questions because she's not going to volunteer them, because she's like a vault. She's like me. If you don't ask, you're not going to know. And I've heard so many things, like at this age, which I didn't know that she came from down south at such a young age with 2 kids. I knew she came from down south, but I didn't know that she was so young. To come from as a teenager to a whole nother city by yourself, that's amazing to me. And to make it with all these kids, and she still going. She has a great social life in her 80s that I wish I have. I hope to have, to be as free and like active as she is. And she just, I love that. Just seeing her life and hearing about it helps me to know that I can persevere through anything. And I love that it helps me it keeps me grounded and keeps me motivated in this this passion of mine of acting. I know that it can be a challenge, but I know that I can make it. If she made it through that, I can make it. Like, anything's possible. I can do it if she did it.
Good. That was so much better. I think that, you talk so much about your grandmother that you could maybe, as you're talking about her, talk about what she's taught you, so that you could talk a little bit more about yourself. Do you know what I mean? It's like, when she told me that this and this and this, and so I've started to do this and this and this, and then she told me this and that. Now I decided I got to, follow my dream of acting. You know what I'm saying? Just to get a little bit more connection with you, because they want to know about you, not just your grandmother.
Right.
So just being able to connect how she's affected you. Right. Okay. The thing is that you just need to make it conversational. You need to make it social.
Okay. Yeah. It's harder because it feels like an assignment, and when you're doing it, you're like, oh gosh, instead of just a conversation between two people.
Exactly. And that's usually what acting is, period. Right. So if they're asking you to do this instead of acting, you have to show them that you can act with it. Right. That you can make talking just to a camera on a computer look like a real conversation.
Getting to know you, getting to feel free and easy.
Hi, my name is Lisa. I am 23 years old, and I was born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia. I have just recently graduated from Georgia State University with a bachelor's degree in music industry management. I really enjoyed my time in college, singing in choir and studying under some of the best professors, and just really getting to connect with other like-minded musicians. I am also a singer and songwriter, and I also play violin and piano as well. So music is a really big part of my life. Outside of singing and acting, I also really enjoy traveling in my spare time and really getting to...
Another example of great things you're talking about, but no personal examples. And also what was going on there was a little thing, like I've said this before, and it's really boring. Did you hear that little rhythm that you got in, Lisa? Did you hear that? I'm doing a real crime drama, blog, and I'm doing this. So I released a new album. You're talking about really exciting things, but you're saying it like it's the boringest thing in the world.
I was struggling to come up with new things to say because it said 2 to 3 minutes.
No matter what, you don't want anything you send out to sound boring. I mean, that's the whole point of you sending it, is for them to think you're so interesting that they want to hire you. So let's imagine that this is a monologue, okay? It's a monologue that you learned. Who are you talking to and why? Remember, it's not about you, it's about them.
I guess I'm just trying to show my background in music.
Okay. Show is never something that's an objective. Okay. If we were talking, if we just made this into an acting piece, showing is not an objective. Okay. It's got to be something that you want from the other person, or that you're trying to do to the other person. Right. So if you imagine that the person that you are talking to is just graduated from high school, okay? And they don't know what to do, but they love music. And you say, I had the very same thing. And I just graduated from college, actually, right? But I ended up being, going into music management, and I graduated with a degree in that. Now, if you say it like that, it's like, this might be good for you, right? Now, they don't know what you're thinking. They don't know who you're using as your person, right? But it looks more like you're talking to them personally than if saying, I'm talking about myself, and this is what I do, and I hope you think I'm interesting because I'm giving you all the facts. You're making a lot of statements, right? And remember, we want to create that tennis game of questions and responses. You want to be able to give them that. So if they want to know what they should do, if they're a musician, you're saying, this could really work. I had the best time. And I did this. What was it like? What did you do? What do you study? Now, if that's what you want to talk about, let what you talk about be what they want to know. So you're trying to help them. Okay.
Okay.
So you can personally make a contact with them. You can be my mentor, right? Because I'm this high school student that just graduated. I don't know what to do, but I sure do love music. Okay, now talk to me.
Last year, I graduated from Georgia State University with a bachelor's degree in music management.
A bachelor's degree in music management? And you cut me off. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
In music management, and said, I graduated with a bachelor's degree in music management. That might be good for you. See, if you're not connecting, don't just state facts. Do you feel yourself stating facts?
Yeah.
Okay. Say, this might be good for you. Say that.
This might be good for you.
That's so much bit warmer, isn't it?
Yeah.
I graduated with a bachelor's degree in music management. Now you see me thinking this might be good for you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Last year, I graduated from Georgia State University with the bachelor's degree in music industry management. When I graduated high school, I had absolutely no idea what I wanted to major in. But I knew that I wanted to do something in music since I have been a musician for most of my life. So
you feel the difference between that and what you did before, right?
yeah.
Now, the thing is, you talked about music and you talked about your podcast, but you should, like I just said to Joanna, because your education is so music involved, that if you're auditioning for an acting job, you need to mention that you're studying acting and that that's also a passion of yours. Just, it doesn't have to be along, because obviously you're there and they're asking about, tell us more about the other parts of your life, but you need to go along with my acting, because I'm in acting class every week. I was also, my degree is in music management, just that you can get it in there. You don't want them to put you in a category that makes you ineligible for the job. Okay. You need to make sure that they feel that you have had enough experience that they could call you in and have you read, and it would be fine. So many auditions these days, they don't even have callbacks. They just have to hire write-off tapes.
Yeah.
So they want to get an idea that, from what you do, that you're ready. Obviously what we mostly work on, is working on the scripts and so on, that they can just take that performance, give it to the director, and you'll be fine. That you'll just go into set and you'll be able to do it. That's how ready they want you to be. Because lots of times they don't have time for you to meet a director or to go in and have them work with you or anything. It's just like, okay, you're hired. Boom. And if they choose the wrong person, I hear that they usually get about 60 to 100 tapes. And then they sift through them and they'll give 4 to 10 to a director from those. The casting director will. So you've got to do something to make them think they're ready. They're going on. You still want to give them an idea that you will be trustworthy and be able to do what they want you to do.
Haven't you noticed? Suddenly I'm bright and busy.
So just to give you a little bit of background about myself, some of my hobbies outside of acting are photography, music, working out, and cars. One of the hobbies I actually recently got into was bodybuilding, and this kind of goes along with the art background that I do have. Being able to see, all the detail, all the refinement, the way that the light hits a person's body, and just like the natural beauty that the human form has. It's something that really, really inspires me. Not to mention that one of my favorite actors, just as a person, Arnold Schwarzenegger, he was also a bodybuilder, and he's an incredibly accomplished man. And finally with cars, just being able to go down a road at 120 miles per hour is just an exhilarating experience. I definitely recommend it to anyone just to understand how advanced, we've come with transportation and automotive technology, and just the feeling it can give you just being connected to this machine that can take you from one place to the other, but in a way that makes you feel alive.
Good stuff there. Some really good stuff. You saw where it was when your face came alive, right? It was really great when you talked about the light hitting the body. It was really great when you were talking about the speed. Why? Because those are the things that excite you. And your face came alive. I don't know about mentioning that you think Arnold Schwarzenegger is a great actor.
He's not.
What Arnold Schwarzenegger is an incredible example of how anyone can become an actor, because with his accent and with his body, the fact that he could find any roles that he could play, he obviously became Conan the Barbarian because he couldn't talk and he was too big for anything else. He was huge, mammoth, but he became successful because he is a driven man, right? And he gets what he wants. People have a definite opinion about him. So that might be something that you might want to dissect from your repertoire.
I got you. Yeah, be more careful about the topics you bring up.
Yeah, and he also, is a very definite political figure, So, you get somebody who's a rabid Democrat, they may not like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you just don't want to get political. You don't want to get into things that people will go, ooh. You know what I'm saying? And that's what they'll remember. But all of that, it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't matter what you talk about. What matters is that it lights you up. Did everybody see that? There was 3 moments that really stood out in that tape, where you were connected to a real, true emotion of sharing something that excites you. And it doesn't have to be something that excites you. It could be something that upsets you. It could be something that you just love. If you're talking about food, even, you know what I'm saying? It just needs to be something that you connect to emotionally, that you want to share, because it's about making them feel what you feel. Same as acting. It is acting, right?